Welcome to Keto on the Couch, episode 150.
I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy ketos.
And if you're new to our channel, welcome.
Yes, welcome. If you are new here, say hi down below.
Now here on Two Crazy Ketos, we do different things like recipe videos and we do product reviews. We talk about various keto topics, and then every Monday, we go live on Keto on the Couch. We just kind of talk about what's going on in our lives for the week.
You can find us in different social media platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter.
And we have a website, which is twocrazyketos.com, and that's where you're going to find all the different recipes. Now, we do upload at least 5 new videos every single week, so make sure you subscribe to our channel.
And don't forget to hit the little bell icon. That way, every single time, baby, it's cold outside, you'll be alerted to it.
There you go.
And we're back.
I forgot to turn the green screen part on.
That's okay.
There we go. Now we can have it.
Now, okay, so we got out our glitch right up at the beginning.
Yeah.
So everything else will go swimmingly.
If you're wondering why I'm wearing a Yoda hat.
It's cold.
It is cold. It is 39 degrees, or at least it was when we woke up.
I think it's more like 49 now because the sun has
still
come
cold.
up. But that is really cold for us. That is, like, first of all, can I just say, first of all, I am so excited to be counted amongst the negative. Go ahead, proclaim me negative. Today, I'm soaking it all in. Rachel, you are so negative.
Amazon's here.
Hey, Amazon.
Amazon is delivering. It's been so cold. I went into the shed, and we have like a nest of mice in the shed. There were like 5 of them last night.
Because it was cold, I guess.
I put out traps, and they set them all off and didn't catch any of them. They ate all the peanut butter.
What did we get? Like the Tom Cruise Mission Impossible rats in there?
So I ordered one of those electronic, what are they? It's like an electronic pest repellent. It's not supposed to affect the chickens.
I was gonna say, is it gonna give them a headache?
They say no, so I'm gonna try that and get them
Monitor
out of
the
there.
chickens though and make sure they're not like
There's actually like a whole line of questions on there that says, like, and one of the questions was, will this affect my chickens? And the answer is no.
Okay, so Rhiannon is going like, congratulations, Rachel. Paula says she's free. Yes, is that like hilarious? But we're so excited to be proclaimed. Usually I identify as a fairly positive person, but I don't want to be positive. Not right now.
Gotta take off the hat so it matches my shirt.
Aw, yes, because you are a sexy bald guy.
Thank you. Okay, so a couple pieces of housekeeping. Number one, if you guys remember from Thursday's live stream, we have some of these extra packets of keto chow that we were gonna hand out during, we were gonna hand them out during the RV event, but we didn't go.
Yeah.
So sometime during the stream, we're gonna give away 3 more of these to make sure you watch through the whole thing. This is only for people who are actually here active in the chat.
Sorry if you're watching this later.
If you're watching it on replay, you'll have to check out some of the other vlogs where we're giving away the 9, and we have 30 more of them. Actually 35, because one of them isn't getting picked till Saturday. That's the vlog that came out yesterday. Couple things of housekeeping. Number one, let you guys know if you're still interested in Keto Crate through the end of the month, there's a link down below for buy one, get one free.
I like that you could gift somebody it.
Also, Perfect Keto still has their sale on their new collagens going on. There's a link down below. You get 20% off when you use that link and the code that's down below.
Cough, cough. Mexican hot chocolate. That one was the really good one.
You like the Mexican hot chocolate?
I like the Mexican hot chocolate one.
Yeah. Okay, so on a more serious note.
Yes, get serious.
Before we get into Keto on the Couch. Now, if you are new to our channel, maybe this is your first Keto on the Couch, the way we do Keto on the Couch live is we're gonna do our regular Keto on the Couch. We kind of don't really notice the chat unless something kind of screams out at me when I look up real quick to make sure we're still live.
Like I saw Rhiannon and I'm like, friends.
Yeah. And then after we're done with the whole Keto on the Couch, then we get into the chat. Now, if there's something we're discussing, like on one of the comments, and you want to kind of put your 2 cents in right now, you can always use the super chat function.
2 cents.
Because that will highlight our screen and let us know, hey, so-and-so has a question. So I'm putting my phone over here to make sure that we're not getting any messages about the live stream.
You're glitching out or something?
So on a more serious note, I was pulling comments on our Facebook group, and I just wanted to remind people of a few things with rules of our Facebook group. Number one, please do not post any kind of links for other people who have affiliate codes. We pretty much do everything we have for free. And you know, the one way that we are able to support the channel, buy equipment, go on different trips and things like that, is with a little bit of money that you do get from affiliates and stuff. It basically all gets dumped back into the channel.
Yeah.
And So please don't post other people's affiliate links in there. Also, don't post live streams.
Yeah.
Okay. And honestly, even with that, we would prefer that you not post like a lot of recipe videos unless it's from like a well-known
like
YouTuber.
Dr. Barry's
like Dr.
making
Barry or
bacon
Dr.
chips.
Cyrus or, you know, Thomas DeLaw or things like that. But the problem is some people, you have these people who are like live streamers or Facebook live streamers, and towards the end of the live stream, they start pimping products like certain multi-level marketing, ketones and things like that. And if their values or products that they are pushing don't line up with things that we agree with, it makes us look bad because it makes it look like we are promoting that and we are endorsing that.
And you got new people coming in all the time that are like, what are Two Crazy Ketos all about?
Right.
Let's see let's get like a layer closer to them, which would be, joining the Facebook family group. And we don't want them to be like, deluge of sales pitches.
Yeah, we're pretty lenient when it comes to posting other videos.
We love supporting other
We
people.
ask for permission. If you have a channel, we ask you to ask us for permission if you have a channel and you want to promote it, so long as you're not spamming it all the time. But we don't want to have to take it to the point where a lot of the other Facebook groups where you can't post any external links, you can't post any external videos, because there are some people like Indigo Nilly who have great recipes and we're happy to share them, but we just want to make sure that they're not promoting things that we don't agree with. Like, I found a video in there where someone was saying, like, you should be eating up to 100 carbs a day. Well, we don't believe in that. So I don't want that in our Facebook group. I think it sends a bad message to new people.
Yeah, so in that case, like, if it's something that you feel passionate about, post it on a personal site.
Okay, you ready to get into keto on the couch?
Yes.
Okay, let's go ahead, and we're going to start off with the Keto College Adjunct Professor of the Week. This is a post that we found on the Facebook group, and we found it inspirational, so I wanted to share it with you guys. And it is from Renee. Let me make that so we can read everything.
Oh my goodness, that's so accurate.
Renee just put up this little meme and said, this, which is a scale, doesn't define how beautiful you are.
Wow. I wish I would stop, like, forever measuring my looks with that. I wish we would all stop measuring our beauty with that. That is such a one-dimensional number that doesn't even say the whole thing. That doesn't even tell, it isn't even good at identifying weight as far as what is bones, what is fat, what is muscle. It doesn't even pull out that. It's not even telling me the whole story in the one story I want it to tell me.
Yeah, I just realized another piece of information we need. Okay. I wanted to say who the winners of the first 5 packets of Keto Chow. Unfortunately, I cannot move this over.
All right.
Because it's YouTube, and YouTube will immediately stop it.
Yeah, let's not do that.
So if I can just find our comments. No.
It would be in the
community?
Looking
for our posts. So bear with us for 1 minute.
I don't know what I should do right now. Should I tap dance?
The thing is that we haven't heard from any of the winners.
Uh-oh.
Except for, one of them we heard from, and that was Debbie. Because Debbie has gifted her winnings. Yeah. It's Purple Lady, has gifted her winnings to Carrie.
Aw, how nice.
So the winner of the
Debbie,
first 5
awesome.
packs of Keto Chow, okay, was Jamie S.
All right.
Purple Lady, Texas, who we've already heard from Carrie. Heather RJ, Strong and Encouraged, and Debbie Casanova. So please do us a favor and send us an email at joe@twocrazyketos.com with all of your shipping information.
Now I want to watch Mystery Men. Do you remember that, like, Jeffrey Rush's character was Casanova Frankenstein? Mm-hmm. Now that's stuck
Chris
in my head.
put up that first link. And then
Thank you.
We released a video yesterday that will do 5 more giveaways of that Keto Chow. Plus, we're going to be doing some during the live stream. Okay, let's get to the subscriber of the week. Now, again, we say this every week. Please share your story. Your story is super important for 2 reasons. Number 1, it reminds you of where you came from. Yeah. But it also inspires people. There are people out there right now that are going through what you are going through or what you've been through, and they think they're alone. And when you share your story, it helps inspire them. And we see that week after week where someone's like, I'm so glad that person posted that story because it made me keep going.
Well, and also, it is, you think that it's just, okay, next week, whoever sees this next week. But we constantly receive emails from people who are watching Keto on the Couch episode 35.
Right.
And they're like, wow, I was really inspired by this story that's like a year or two ago. So like your story, your win is timeless. It becomes timeless because what you've accomplished, just because somebody is going to be starting a year behind you, you're still speaking into their life. And that's I love that.
Okay, so the first subscriber of the week, we actually have a few, and I'm happy to have a bunch of them.
Yay!
Is from Tamara.
Hey, Tamara.
She said, thank you so much for accepting my request.
Aww.
I've been following keto since May of 2020. I've lost 70 pounds so far.
Go.
I initially started for the weight loss, but after almost 2 years, I've lost inflammation issues, heart palpitations, burning face after eating anything with carbs, low self-esteem, anxiety, panic, attacks, and a few people in my life who I still love, but were never in my corner.
Wow.
So many non-scale victories, and my advice after 70 pounds is to measure and to do some sort of lifting to stay toned.
That's nice.
I'm in a place now where it's extremely overwhelming dealing with the loose skin.
Wow, Tamara, you are absolutely stunning. Absolutely stunning. And that little black dress is super cute. I love the little shoulder like extra. I'm a sucker for necklines and sleeves. When you come up with something creative like that, I just love it. You look fantastic. And thank you for turning our attention to toning as you go.
That's
because
right.
It is something that's great advice. You're going to be glad you do that. It's good for us to continue building strength, and that's something I'm definitely focusing on. But that's great advice.
And that is something, by the way, even though it is the 24th of January, we still have a few days left in the month to let you know next month's challenge will involve some kind of movement. Simple movement, but something to get us moving. Next one is from Shell.
Hey, Shell.
Shell said, I've never posted before and after photos, and I don't like to remember what I look like at one time. But with Joe and Rachel and all the support I get from this group, I thought it was time to be brave. I still want to lose more. I was a 4 to 5 XL down to a size 18 now.
Oh my gracious. Hello, supermodel. Good Lord. Look how young. Shell.
Mm-hmm. Be proud.
Oh my goodness. Just absolutely gorgeous. Like crazy beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that.
Next one is from Rhonda.
Hey, Rhonda.
It's a little subtle, but I'm getting there. Come on, don't tell me you don't see a difference, LOL. Doesn't matter. I see it and I feel it.
That's
and
good.
Don't tell me you can't gain muscle at 60 years old and heading to 61. Let the progress pics begin. And as we were just talking about with movement and toning, look at Rhonda after only 2 weeks, week 1 to week 3.
Welcome
you
to the gun
see
show.
Some definite, look at that definition in there on the triceps.
I do. Oh my gosh.
That is awesome.
Well, and I love that. It's like she's calling everybody out. There is no age limit or expiration date on exercise.
Yeah.
We need to move.
Yep.
And if the most movement we do is getting up and down and going and getting the mail, we can double, triple, quadruple our amount of movement by just doing that simple exercise multiple times a day.
And if you hurt yourself in some area, as Bronson pointed out during our coaching session a couple weeks ago, do you have other muscles that you could move? For example, I dislocated my shoulder. Now it is on the mend. I'm feeling a lot better. But guess what? I still have a lower half. I can still do squats. I hope that's not
scam likely.
It's scam likely. Okay.
My boyfriend's scam likely.
I can still do squats. I can still do other things that don't involve my upper body. Now, I'm starting to get back on the rowing machine very, very light. I actually reset the entire thing because right now I can't keep up at where I was before because I ruined my rotator cuff or I dislocated my shoulder. And if I do, I'm just going to dislocate it again. So it's going to take a couple months to heal. So I'm going to do very light things with my upper body and with my right shoulder. But I'm going to keep working on my legs and my thighs and my abs and things like that.
Well, and even just like after this past week, it was a good reminder that I appreciate being able to move about and do things. There's nothing like a couple of days stuck in bed where you're like, gosh, I'm bored. I wish I could get out. I wish I could move. Well, we can. Now, there's no excuse. I'm a negative person. Let's go out and get some movement in.
So we have one more subscriber of the week. It's Sylvia.
Hey, Sylvia.
She said, going through the pics in my phone and found this from 2019 to 2022. Started keto December of 2020 and now down 72 pounds. I've been getting a little discouraged after not losing anything after the last 6 weeks. Today I'm down another 2 pounds, which I'm very happy with. But seeing the difference of a standard American diet and 1 year of keto, I'm feeling better.
Oh, Sylvia, how lovely. Okay, I'm sorry, but I love your sweater. The gingerbread sweater is like the cutest. But yes, you look amazing. Way to go.
Okay, let's get into the YouTube comments. First one's from Karen.
Hey, Karen.
She said, while watching this video, there was a comment on how expensive keto chow or eating keto can be. I am a licensed insurance agent specializing in Medicare insurance. A recent client is on 9 medication.
Wow.
He takes 2 oral diabetes medications, 2 different insulins, 2 medications for lipids, 1 thyroid pill, 1 blood pressure pill. These 8 medications are covered by the Medicare prescription plans, but he will be into the coverage gap or donut hole by May, at which time he will have to pay 25% of the cost of medications. His 9th drug is not covered by any Medicare prescription plan in our area. This medication is for weight loss and costs $8,700 annually.
Oh my gracious.
Imagine the savings if he would be eating keto, if he were able to eliminate most or all of these medications. Perhaps we can't afford not to do this.
Karen, you just absolutely blew my mind. If we need a why moving forward, you need a new why in 2022, it's future you.
That's right.
Future you is asking for you to invest right now in ribeye, in eggs, in whole foods. Why? Because there's expenses down the road if you don't. You're gonna put the money someplace. I would rather invest in myself and not be making medical payments.
And do you need to start off right away eating pasture-raised eggs and grass-fed ground beef? No. You start off where you can afford. You can start off with eating Sabrett's hot dogs that may have a touch of sugar in them. It's still better than eating the hot dog bun and all of the potato chips and everything else. You start off where you can afford, and then as you begin noticing savings from not eating potato chips and not going to Starbucks and not having to pay for all those medications, you just start transferring that money from the medication and your old junk food into healthier foods. That's what we did. It took us a year to start eating pasture-raised eggs.
It did.
Now, there's a noticeable taste difference. And do we always eat pasture-raised eggs? No. I use the regular cheap $1 a dozen eggs when I'm making bread, if I don't have anything else. You know, I use what
Deviled
I
eggs.
can. But I can tell you, even for me, I dropped over $150 a month of bills just on medicine. And that money just went right back into my food budget.
Yeah.
Next one is from Laura.
Hey, Laura. She says, Rachel, I pray you are well quickly. Thanks so much, Laura. I want to share a non-scale victory. I went to Goodwill because I needed a pair of jeans because everything I have is too big. Great problem to have. In the past month, I've lost only 1/2 of 1 pound. But I dropped from a size 10 pants to a size 8 in the same time. To clarify, a size 8 in jeans, several different brands. A size 8. About 12 years ago, I made it to a size 8, but I was about 10 pounds lighter than I currently am, which says a lot about body recomposition and doing things the right way. From a tight 14 and or 16 to a comfortable 8 in 4.5 months, 44 pounds down. Laura, thank you for saying that because again, people don't realize the difference that happens when you lose actual fat during body recomposition, which happens uniquely through keto, I find. Because Lord knows, I've tried every diet there is, and I have weighed more, but been in a smaller size during keto than I was even when I was starving myself.
Right.
The no food diet.
That's right. Next one is from Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie.
Stephanie said, I started focusing on myself first about a year ago. I was diagnosed with celiac disease just over a year ago, and I needed to feed myself separate than everybody else. I started to realize that if I fed myself after everyone else, I'm starving and tired, and I make poor food choices. But if I eat my meal before everybody else, it's better for me. I have to admit that my husband had a slight issue with this in the beginning, but after explaining to him a year later, it works. Now, if I'm eating the same meat source, then I eat with everyone else. But on pizza night, I eat before.
I think that's absolutely brilliant. And here's the thing. Thank you for letting us have a view at what's going on in your home, because a lot of times we don't talk about that sort of thing. And we need some hacks that work for us individually. That really speaks to me. I feel the same way. I need to fuel up for the day. I need to get devotions in. I want to eat something. Even if Joe is not eating first thing in the morning, that is something that I like, that I need. That appeals to me.
And it's something you see in our vlogs recently. There are a lot of mornings where Rachel wants a couple eggs and I don't want anything.
And that's okay.
And at first, it was definitely weird. We're used to sitting down and eating together. But as we keep saying every week, the most important person is you.
Yeah.
You need to come before your spouse. You need to come before your children. And is that a hard reality?
Yeah.
Yes. But you're no good to anybody if you're sick.
Right. Would it be better for him not to eat and me not to eat and me be grumpy and nasty with him and be frustrated and be thinking to myself, I'm deprived, I'm not getting what I want, nobody cares about me? Like, that is not a good mindset to start the day. It would be so much better to put a couple eggs down in my throat and be in a good mood and be a better wife and encourager and mother that I need to be and want to be.
Yep. Next one is from Stephanie.
Hey, Stephanie. She says, Rachel, how on earth do you look radiant while dealing with COVID? Bless your heart, Stephanie. Wishing you the speediest recovery. You are both such a bright light in my day. Thank you. Thanks so much. I really appreciate all of the prayers and well wishes. Thank you so much. It is kind of vulnerable in this space to even say, like, I have COVID. Like, you almost are like,
some of the comments.
Are you gonna stop being my friend? I honest to goodness could not avoid getting it. Trust me, I would have if I could have. But I really thank you guys for being so warm about it, for understanding, like, people get sick. It used to, like, 2019 and before, you could get sick and people would be like, God bless you. Sorry. Now it's like, like the eyes.
And speaking of that, it reminds me, please keep the comments in the videos relative.
Yeah. Make keto channel.
Make sure that they have something to do with everything. Some of the comments, and we're not going to discuss what they are, they got political and that there's no place for that. This is a keto channel. That's why we have a rule in our Facebook group. We're not talking about these different things because it has nothing to do with what our focus and our goal is, which is to get people healthy.
Well, and it's by design, because here's the thing. We want people, and I don't care what else about somebody. All I want to do is love people. That is the most important thing. And I find that if somebody is a dog person and you're like, I'm only talking about cats and everything is about cats, and it's like, okay, there's a layer that now I can't identify with you. Like I'm on opposing sides with you, like, because you're talking about dogs and not cats. And I never want there to be not even one layer of distance between us trying to love people.
Tanya, thank you very much for becoming a channel member.
Thanks, Tanya. Welcome.
Okay, next one is from Sherry.
Hey, Sherry.
And Sherry said, the only day I have a high spending is if I didn't plan and I eat out. Some days I am spending less than $5 a day on my 2 meals, including my tea and my Relight factored in.
That's honestly, preparation is key. Yep. If budget is a concern and you're not meal prepping, we have nothing further to discuss.
That's right.
Honestly, that's a pretty hard sentence coming out of Rachel's mouth, but that is the way you protect your budget the best, and that is to plan.
Even if you're not prepping it. But one of the things that we used to do, and we don't do it as much anymore, but I'm always thinking, because we're doing so much vlogging now, I'm always thinking a day or two ahead. Like today, we're having steaks and we're doing an experiment for the vlog, and that is we're gonna cook a steak in a sous vide, in a standard stick sous vide, the immersion one where you put the steak in a bag, and we're gonna cook one in the Innova Precision Oven. And then we're gonna sear them at the same time.
We're gonna race them
the same exact way at the same temperature, and we're gonna see, is there a difference? So that has been planned for a couple days. The steaks have been in the refrigerator, salted, drying out, getting tender. But at minimum, if you're trying to protect your budget, one of the things we used to do, we used to go in a chronometer and literally plan out everything we were going to eat for the whole week. And it did two things. Number one, it kept us on track.
Right.
It made it so that we knew, hey, this is all I'm allowed to eat on this day, even if you're only doing it 2 days ahead of time. But it also keeps you from going for fast food and different things like that.
It really does help.
I'm going to send Anthony a text message real quick, because even though it's 40 degrees outside,
The air conditioning just kicked on.
The air conditioner fan just kicked off.
And you will hear it.
Can you go turn off the breaker?
Air conditioning, I was going to say. But let's be distinct, because I can just see him accidentally the whole thing.
Yes.
All electricity. Seems like a weird request, Dad, but okay.
Okay, next one is from Brittany.
Hey, Brittany.
Brittany said, I've been doing about 90 to 95% carnivore for a few weeks now, mostly eating just meat and eggs, and on occasion a tablespoon or two of G. Hughes ketchup with my meal. But I've noticed that every time I'm checking my ketones on the Keto Mojo, I am typically only registering 0.3. I figured my ketones would be through the roof eating beef, pork, butter, and eggs for the most part. What gives? Any insight? I'm gonna leave this up for a couple minutes. It could be a couple of different things. Number one, we're not huge fans of testing ketones all the time. Also, when are you testing your ketones? If you're testing after a meal, they're almost always gonna be lower. It's a fact. We actually did a video showing we ate a perfect keto meal.
Super keto.
And our ketones dropped down. The best time to check your ketones, if you are gonna check them, is midday before your first meal.
Right.
Okay, that's first of all. So fasted midday before your first meal. The other thing is that the longer you're doing keto, your body becomes adapted, and you don't. It learns how to use the fat directly for fuel. All it will end up doing is taking extra fat and turning that into ketones, and all you're really measuring when you're checking your ketones is extra ketones. Ketones your body isn't using. That's in your blood.
They have no job. They're loitering ketones.
On average, my ketones are usually between a 0.4 to a 0.6. Now, I'm eating less than 10 total carbs a day on most days. At most, we eat like 25 total carbs. Either way, I almost have no impact on my ketones. It's always the same. Whether I eat 0 carbs or I eat 20 carbs, I'm always the same. But my body has learned to use the fat. The other thing that could affect your ketones, if you're eating way too much. We don't talk about calories, but we do talk about eating grams. And ketosis is basically a starvation. It's a way your body protects itself from starving. If you're eating way too much fuel, it doesn't need to produce the ketones. So you will notice that when you're in a severe deficit of fuel, if you're way under eating, your ketones will be higher. But that doesn't necessarily mean more fat loss. If you really want high ketones, there's lots of ways you can do it. Drink some MCT oil, take some exogenous ketones, but it doesn't mean you're gonna lose any more fat.
Yeah,
it just doesn't mean anything.
Make the number boop up.
Now, if you need them for like Maitreya, where you have to deal with seizures and things like that, you'll
medical
see
issues.
That's where they're eating higher percentages of fat. But Maitreya is also not trying to lose weight. Maitreya is trying
for health,
to have higher ketones for cognitive function.
Yeah. Do me a favor and take down that text for me.
Oh.
Thank you. Awesome.
He was like, which one is it? He got it though.
Yeah, he did. I heard it.
Okay, next one is from Mary.
Hey, Mary. She says, I was vegan, gained tons of weight. I'm totally lost with keto. Can you guide me in the right direction? I don't want to totally cut out carbs, but not sure how to mix keto and carbs.
How many carbs are you talking about? If you don't want to, keto is eating extremely low carb, and that's the bottom line. It's eating extremely low carb. What do I mean by extremely low carb? Less than 20 to 30 total carbs per day.
Yeah.
Now, if you're extremely active, like we have someone who we're helping coach along, who they're into weightlifting and they're young, like in their 20s, and they're extremely active, they can get away with 40 or 50 total carbs. But are their carbs coming from eating grains and sugar? No, their carbs are coming from eating sweet potato and jicama and more broccoli and green leafy vegetables. In fact, I was talking to her the other day, and she said to me, I decided last week to have a potato. I cut it up, and we made some French fries. And afterwards, we were like, yeah, that just wasn't as satisfying as I thought it was going to be. It was
more a mental craving.
Yeah, and she was like, we just decided we'd rather eat more meat. So can you eat carbs? Yes. Can you eat a whole bunch of sugar and be on keto, especially if you're trying to lose weight? No. You just can't. It really is going to depend on where you are. Now, if you're extremely obese, you may get away with eating more carbs at the beginning because our body is used to, consuming 150, 200, 300 grams of carbs a day. So if you cut down to 40, you're going to have some results in the beginning.
Right.
But as you go further along, you're going to have to keep cutting them down.
Yeah.
Because that's just how our body works. And you just don't need the sugar.
Well, and it's not just a weight loss thing. It's also
a health issue.
A feeling in your body. Because if you continue to have 1 foot in keto and 1 foot in carbs, then you're going to feel disgusting all the time. You're really not going to be able to pinpoint where is the yucky feeling coming from. Like that, it's just you're never going to feel the benefits of keto because you kind of you're straddling the fence. So you sort of have to make the decision to go one way or the other.
Now, if you're absolutely insistent in having some carbs or maybe more than the average person has on keto, my answer, and again, we are not doctors or nurses or health professionals. This is all what we've personally experienced and what we've learned from doing a lot of studying over the last 4 and 5 years. And that would be, don't mix carbs and fat. So if you're going to eat some carbohydrates, there shouldn't be a bunch of fat. If you're going to eat a whole bunch of broccoli, and I mean a lot of broccoli, don't cover it with butter, okay? Just eat the broccoli. If you look at this, one of the problems with the standard American diet, everything on the standard American diet is mixed carbs and fat.
Yeah.
Eat a hamburger with a bun. Right?
Mashed potatoes and gravy.
Right, all of that stuff.
Pasta
so if
and
you're going to do it, you've got to separate it because you got to look at oxidative priority. How does our body process? The first thing it's going to do is alcohol. Take the alcohol out. Next thing it goes after the carbs. That's what it's going to use. If there's no carbs, then it goes to dietary fat and then it goes to body fat. Well, if you're eating the carbs and dietary fat, a lot of it at the same time, it's always going to work on the carbs first.
Never going to get to you.
What's it going to do with the dietary fat? If you're not working enough, if you're not exercising enough, and we are not proponents of go do a bunch of cardio to exercise your calories off, that doesn't work. What's it going to do with all that dietary fat? Stored as body fat. So you can't mix them. That's the biggest thing. But we're going to highly advise you, lower the carbs. If you want to do keto for weight loss, you shouldn't be eating more than 20 to 30 total carbs per day. Let's go ahead and take a quick fade to black so we can insert a commercial when we come back later.
That was quick.
That was really quick. You want to do a giveaway?
Yes, let's do it.
You want to do one of them right now?
Yeah, let's do it.
You ready?
Wait, let me get a pen. Okay, go for it.
So let's talk about what is in this. You ready?
Yes.
So here's what we have. You're going to get one of the 2 Krazy Ketos wristbands.
Chocolate.
I think it's 3 chocolates.
Chocolate.
Right? 3 chocolates, a strawberry, and a snickerdoodle. Thank you very much for Keto Chow and Chris and Miriam for dropping all of this off when you guys were down here for Low Carb Boca. Ready?
Yes.
Roll it. The winner is Karen
Finch.
So Karen, do us a favor. Please send me an email at joe@twocrazyketos.com with all of your shipping information, and we will send that out. Ready?
Yeah.
Next one is from Jennifer.
Hey, Jennifer. She says, I started BBB and E, not completely strict think, 90-10 rule, a couple of days before January 1st, just because I couldn't wait to get started. I needed to lose some weight and hoping this would be a good way to do it. One thing that happened to me last semester, I'm a teacher, was for the first time in my life, I began having a very bad case of plantar fasciitis. So painful. I totally understand that. I've had that. I finally bought a pair of shoes that made life bearable, but I had to wear them all the time, even just around the house, or I was simply in severe pain. I so get that. Fast forward to this past week, after just a couple of weeks of BBB and E, no more plantar fasciitis. I have absolutely no pain whatsoever. I have also lost 5 pounds and look forward to losing more, but the loss of the pain has changed me more than the weight loss. Let's hear that again. The loss of the pain has changed me more than the weight loss. I am so excited to see what other changes come along. Jennifer, Thank you so much. And as somebody who used to get shots in her heel, which that never lasted very long as a comfort, but it was so worth it to me to just get a moment of relief from plantar fasciitis myself. I totally get where you're at. It is excruciating. You can't even concentrate on what you're trying to do. You can talk about, I can't walk and chew gum. When you walk with that, it is so painful. It's just, it takes over. And as a teacher, you're on your feet a lot. Right? So that is such a great and powerful win. I'm so excited about that.
And it's also a reminder, so many people, including myself, come to keto for weight loss and then experience like health changes, and they experience not being a type 2 diabetic anymore, and again, these are all individual results, and we're not going to guarantee any of that because we're not doctors or nurses or health professionals, but these are what things people experience. They experience lowering of pain from arthritis and stuff. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is, if you came to keto and you're watching us and you came here for weight loss, change your thinking. Okay? Keto is a lifestyle change. Keto is not or carnivore, or the proper human diet, whatever version of keto or the proper human diet you're doing. This is not a quick fix, lose weight and get out.
No.
Because I'm gonna tell you now, if you come to eating the proper human diet, as Dr. Berry calls it, lose some weight, and then immediately, hey, I dropped my 50 pounds, go back to the way you're eating, I promise you, within 6 months, you'll have all the weight back on. And that is not a yo-yo diet. It's because, as we talk about all the time, you haven't fixed the issues. We haven't fixed what caused us to get fat, and that is the standard American diet. So I'm going to encourage you, if you have come to keto for weight loss, change your thinking and say, this is a lifestyle change for the benefit of my health. And the weight loss is a side effect.
And I mean, it was designed as a therapeutic diet.
That's right.
Right?
It really wasn't designed for weight loss.
And it has been very therapeutic for us personally to heal a lot of stuff that's going on in our body.
I was just noticed, Mary said, when I tell non-keto people, non-keto people, keto stopped my pain, they say, well, you lost weight. Of course your hip is better. They're surprised and then suddenly quiet when I tell them the pain went first.
Wow. That is awesome.
It took me 6 months to realize that I wasn't taking painkillers. But guess what? I stopped the painkillers in the first month. I just didn't notice that I wasn't taking the painkillers.
And that's why we kind of say, put the weight loss on the back burner and put at the front. Be on the lookout for feeling better, for different symptoms in your body that you've been challenged with over the years, like it to go away. Because it's nice and fun to notice it. Like, journal these things. I think that is a powerful way to keep track of your success and be like, wow, I remember Caleb during school saying like, well, wow, this 2 weeks since I've had a migraine. That is a win.
Right. So the next one is from Jessica. She said, can you cook a brisket in the oven? Yes, you can. I actually answered somebody on Facebook earlier today, and that is on the menu for later on this week. So if you want to cook a brisket in the oven, now you're not going to get the smoke flavor that you would get in a smoker, but it can be done. Simply follow the same recipe that we have for cooking it in the oven, although in a smoker. So the way I've been doing it is the way Chris does it, which is started the night before. But if you're doing it in your oven, you're probably not going to want to run your oven for that long. So I'd say early in the morning, set your oven to about 225 to 250 degrees, your choice. The lower the better, but understand the lower, the longer it's going to take.
The lower, the slower.
You're going to cook it, you're going to put it fat cap up on an open tray. You're going to cook it until you have an internal temperature of 165 degrees. At that point, you're going to pull it out. You're going to wrap it super tight in aluminum foil or butcher paper if you have it. I like aluminum foil. Wrap it really tight, put it back in, and then you're going to cook it until you get an internal temperature of 205 to 210 degrees. You just won't have the smoke flavor, but you will get that like super juicy, tender brisket.
It's delicious.
Next one is from Pam.
Hey Pam, I'm not negotiating my value with anyone. I'm worth it, been worth it, will forever be worth it. Dang girl, I love that. Oh my goodness, like that needs to be a t-shirt, right? Like,
I know.
Oh baby, I'm worth it. Like serious, we need to look ourselves in the mirror and say that, because I think that's something we hold back on. And man, I think that as a parent, sometimes we're used to taking the back seat to everybody else's needs, right? Like, you're the last to get a new outfit. You're the last to go to the doctor. You're the last to get, because we always put our children first. As a parent, I feel like that feels very natural. And if you're putting yourself first in any way, it feels very strange and like all of a sudden you're being mean, but you're not. You're not being selfish. This is great.
Right. Look at this. Ladybug said, my sister and I convinced our dad to eat keto. He called me at work to tell me his legs were no longer swollen and he can fit into his boots.
Oh, that is so awesome.
Right?
That is so stinking awesome. I'm so excited for him.
Next one's from Deborah.
Hey, Deborah.
She said, I made 2 Krazy Ketos chili yesterday. It was delicious, filling, and clean. 1 serving at lunch, and I didn't want dinner. Now I have lunch for the week. I made a couple of minor changes due to supply issues and personal preferences, but the recipe provides the formula for success.
Wow.
You need to order more tomato basil keto chow. It's a game changer for thickening and adding flavor. Tracking it was easy. It was already loaded into Carb Manager.
Deborah, thanks for giving our recipe a try. And thank you to everybody who gives a recipe of ours a try. You can find all of our recipes on 2krazyketos.com in our little recipe section. And do us a huge, humongous favor. If you make something, if you like try one of our recipes, snap a picture of it, put it on your social media, and like get the word about us out there, because it really does help the channel so much.
Yeah, I'm gonna add to that. If you tweak it, let us know.
Yeah.
I am not offended when you tweak. The only time I'm offended is when somebody puts salt on the food that I've cooked before tasting it.
That's me.
You know, it's like going into a steak restaurant like Peter Luger's and then pouring steak sauce on it in front of the chef.
Right.
Like he's not gonna be happy. Right? I mean, and that's an ongoing joke between the two of us. But no, I am not offended when you tweak it. There are lots of things that people have sent us like, hey, I did this, and I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
And one of the things I love about our Keto Chow chili recipe is it is so versatile. There are so many tweaks. We are enjoying it right now with no peppers and onions in it because we can't have peppers and onions.
Get creative.
Made it, if you want it thinner, if you want it as a much thicker, not like soupy, don't use as much beef bone broth. If you want it thinner, add more. You don't have to use as much keto chow. It is so versatile. And that's why I like it. But the tomato basil keto chow adds flavor.
Without
it
carbs.
adds some spice. It doesn't add nearly as many carbs as you're using tomato paste and tomato sauce. And I know chili's not supposed to have that in there, but I like it in there. And it tastes really good. So yeah, please tag us if you make little tweaks, because I love learning different ways to make our own recipes.
And I really like the tomato basil because of my tomato sensitivity.
Yeah. Next one's from Kimberly.
Hey Kimberly, question. If you are taking the Keto Chow mineral drops, do you also need the electrolyte drops, or is it one or the other?
So it depends on what you're doing. And also, are you using Keto Chow? If you're using Keto Chow for a couple of meals a day, unless you're doing a lot of working out, you probably don't need either one. Remember, each Keto Chow is gonna give you 1/3 of all of the electrolytes that you need for the day. The whole idea of the daily mineral drops, from my understanding from Chris and Dr. Berry, is it's a starting place. Having that every day, you don't have to go worry about like taking a bunch of other external minerals. You don't have to go take iodine drops and all that. It's
all the vitamins off the shelf
in there. That is your starting place. And then from there, see how you're doing through the day. There are days where I need more electrolytes than others. And your body will normally tell you, hey, you need some more. Again, not as a doctor or a nurse or a health professional, but my personal experience is if you're experiencing headaches or heart palpitations, or maybe you get up and you feel a little lightheaded, a lot of times that's low sodium. If you're experiencing like muscle cramps while you're working out, or maybe you're taking a walk, most likely you're low on potassium. If you're experiencing muscle cramps, especially leg cramps, when you're sitting down doing nothing, like laying in bed, it's probably magnesium. So just listen to your body. But I would tell you daily minerals are a great starting place. If you could only get one, that's where I'm gonna start.
Yeah.
And then you use the electrolytes when you feel you need them, because the daily minerals gives you so much more.
You definitely want to use them to cook with. You don't want to shoot them because like the taste is like, woo, mama.
Or you can do what we're doing, is putting like 15 drops into seltzer water.
It has been such a game changer. And I honestly think we're getting more in because we tend to drink more, right? Like
there's never a seltzer water that we're drinking now that doesn't have at least 15 drops of daily minerals, and you don't taste them.
No.
I've gotten as high as 20 where I didn't taste them. Beyond that, I'm like, I'm starting to taste them a little bit.
Yeah, so rein it back.
But that means that all day long, we're pulling in those daily minerals. Next one's from Sarah.
Hey, Sarah.
Does anyone have success with high protein, moderate fat, low carb? That's kind of where what we promote. We promote 1-to-1, which is eat whatever your goal weight is. So for example, I always use this, 150 pounds, eat 150 grams of protein, and then eat up to 150 grams of fat and carbs combined, keeping your carbs as low as possible, preferably under 20 to 30 total, which means you'd be eating about 120 to 130 grams of fat. That works out to be, it's still, according to the standard American diet, high fat, but it is not what people used to promote as keto.
Right.
Because you're gonna be eating about 60 to 65% fat, calories from fat there. So it's still considered high fat, but we're always gonna tell you the most important thing is protein.
Protein.
And I'm so glad to see so many people in the keto space now promoting protein is really important, because when we started 5 years ago, or at least when I started 5 years ago,
it just was
everybody thought that if you ate too much protein, it was gonna turn to a jelly donut.
Yeah.
And it's just not true, because science didn't know back then that gluconeogenesis, which is where your body creates glucose from either protein or fat or muscle in your body when it needs it. Everybody thought that if you ate the protein, it automatically, if you had whatever you have left is gonna become sugar or glucose in your body. And that's not how it works. Gluconeogenesis is actually demand driven, which means my body needs the glucose, so it's gonna create it. And it can create it from the fat, it can create it from protein, it can create it from muscle. So it's gonna do it, even if you could be fasted for 4 days and your body's gonna create the glucose that it needs.
Yeah.
Protein is the most important thing. Thomas Solar just did a great video about it too, talking about make sure you're getting your protein in. If you're eating less than 100 grams of protein a day, no matter what, you're not eating enough. You should be eating at least 100 grams of protein a day. Next one is from Donna.
Hey Donna, broke my rule, was going to weigh 1 time a month, but hopped on there anyway because my clothes are noticeably looser and I feel the difference. Devil Scale says only about 3 pounds down since just after Christmas. Not really complaining. I mean, loss is loss. But yeah, I mean, thank you for sharing that, because, you know, even Joe was like guilty of that this month, because you want to stay off the scale, but when things start to move around, you're like, I'm curious. Let me just see.
I have not had a good month staying off the scale.
And you think to yourself, like, I've got to have lost like 10 pounds because I feel 10 pounds different in my body. So definitely you want to measure it in your clothes, and don't expect when you get back on the scale in February that maybe 20 pounds is gone. It's just you've had really real body recomposition.
Yeah. A couple questions I just noticed. Brittany want to know, what is the spice level of Keto Chow Spicy Taco?
Low.
I want to use a packet with 2 pounds of ground beef, and I'm wimpy. It's not
perfect.
very spicy. It's more of flavor than spice.
Yeah.
We add a lot of taco seasoning to it when we do it.
Yeah, it is not spicy at all, I don't think.
And then Rachel, thank you for being a channel member for 4 months.
Aww.
Said, when I started keto, I thought it was about losing weight, but when I lost pain, inflammation, and depression, I then realized I gained so much more.
That's a good gain. Rachel, you're awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so next one is from Claire.
Hey Claire, I just got the best non-skill victory because I am technically type 2 diabetic. My A1C is down to 5.1 and my LDL is higher than normal. I always seem to get the statin talk, which I always resist, and I also get very concerned looks when I say I eat meat, eggs, and butter. I was finally able to get a coronary artery calcium CT score done, and my score is 0. Because I have had many years of high insulin and I did have a short period where my blood sugar was out of control, I was a little nervous. Claire!
Congratulations,
That is so
Claire.
stinking awesome.
Now, again, we are not doctors or nurses or health professionals. I know I say it a lot, but hey, I gotta protect us.
Yeah.
But if you're a woman, well, nobody should be taking a statin, okay, except for very extreme circumstances. But if you are a woman and you are on a statin, or your doctor is telling you to go on a statin, please go watch Dr. Berry's videos on statins,
please.
especially if you are a woman. especially if you're a woman. Next one is from Victoria.
Hey, Victoria.
She put this meme up, said, believe in yourself, love yourself. This is your journey. If you quit now, you will end up right back where you first began. And when you first began, you were desperate to be right where you are now. Keep going.
That is such a powerful reminder. It is so much harder to start and get momentum again. Maybe it's not going as fast as you would like to see results, but yeah, you are not at day one of this.
Yeah.
That is so powerful.
Okay, that's the end of the comments. Do you want to do another giveaway?
I sure do.
Okay. Ready?
Yes. Let's see who the winner's gonna be.
I gotta go back over there.
You gotta go backwards.
Ready?
Yeah. Roll it. Denise Jurek.
Janice just made a comment too.
Oh, wow.
She said, I take Keto Chow minerals. I am assuming it has magnesium in it. Do I still take extra magnesium at night? Yeah, well, it depends. So I'm gonna put that comment up.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Denise. Here's what you need to do. Send me an email at joe@twocrazyketos.com with all of your shipping information. So yeah, so Denise said, I take Keto Chow minerals, so I'm assuming it has magnesium in it. Yes, it does. Do I still take extra magnesium at night? It depends on your body. So that's where we're saying, take your daily minerals and then see where you're going throughout the day. Do you need more? Are you experiencing leg cramps at night?
Yeah.
You probably want to tack on some magnesium.
Well.
Like I know Miriam says she needs the magnesium every night. Rachel needs the magnesium every night.
I do.
Sometimes I need it, sometimes I don't. I will never forget, I think we were in Kentucky, and I woke up halfway through the night with such a bad leg cramp. I'm surprised I didn't wake up the rest of the house. Like I was screaming in agony.
Yeah.
And Rachel immediately grabbed some magnesium drops and like literally shot them in my mouth, which was not a pleasant experience. But they went away within a couple of minutes.
Yeah, because I was like, shut up, Lynette and Sean are in the next room. It's going to sound like something shifty's going on in this bedroom.
Okay, okay, let's go back a little bit. We're gonna read some of these comments. Watch Dr. Barry's video on this. Okay, so Julie said, I went out for dinner last night at a local restaurant.
Oh, the logo was a chili pepper.
Ordered 10 ounces of classic steak, no sides. The waitress asked, just the protein? I said, yes, just the meat, thank you. Pork rinds for dipping.
Oh, how nice.
Somebody actually, which we may have to go this week because I have to look at the expiration date of our $25 bonus things, but somebody put a thing up of Texas Day Brazil. They asked them and like they brought in some for dessert for themselves, some enlightened cheesecakes.
And they were cool with it.
And they were cool with it. So
how nice.
Something cool to know.
Well,
if you're going out with a group and you want to indulge in dessert with everybody else at Texas Day to Brazil, bring your own cheesecake.
Well, and here's the thing. I have called restaurants before in the past when the kids were little to see if we could bring in a birthday cake. So why couldn't you call in advance and see if you could bring in something? And here's a good temperature gauge of the friends that you're dining with. If they're like, ooh, don't do that, I'm embarrassed of you, time to get new friends.
Right.
Because they should support you in your goals.
Yeah, Maitreya said, I don't know if Sean is here. She said Sean will be a great person to address spicy taco as she is not a spicy eater. I find it nice spicy, but I think my mild might be a lot of person's hot.
Yeah, I honestly don't think that there's much of a, it's more like a taco taste.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I don't even find it as spicy as like Taco Bell, which I don't think is spicy. So Carnivore Granny said, turned 60 last Monday, feeling better. Less pain is great, less chest pains. I breathe better, walk better. I use a walker, but it's better.
That's awesome.
I look younger, and my gray hair is changing to brown.
Wow.
That is awesome.
That is not happened to me. It's still gray.
I'm going to tell you something. I was noticing it the other day. Before you really started eating much higher protein and more on like the proper human diet and a lot of beef, butter, bacon, egg, your hair was coming in like, what's the right word? Like a wiry kind of gray color. Yeah. And it's now more of kind of like a golden brownish gray. Like it is definitely not that. I think you were really worried about it being like an ugly gray.
I'll tell you what.
It's a really pretty gray.
Before I started eating protein, I wasn't worried about it turning gray. I was worried about it turning loose.
Well,
it was falling out.
Rachel does not color her hair. She's, like her whole life, she was coloring her hair since she was like 17 years old, right?
Yeah.
And she stopped coloring her hair just over a year ago now.
Thanks to you guys telling me it was okay to do it.
It looks amazing, and it doesn't look that gray that you were fearful it was going to be.
It's getting.
You can see out here where the gray was, but now look at that compared to where it's coming in.
It is kind of darker, isn't it?
It is coming in much darker and younger looking.
But you know what?
Something else for beef, butter, bacon, and egg.
There you go.
Lori, thank you very much for being a channel member for 4 months. And my sister Ginny had a dream about 2KK last night.
What were we doing? Were we on a treasure hunt? Were we pirates? What were we doing in that dream?
So S. McCabe said, Joe, please explain the grams for protein, how you figure protein need. Best thing to do is go over to our website. And on our website, we have a macro calculator. You can put all your information in there. You can base it on 2 things. You can base it on if you know what your lean mass is. The best way to do that is with a DEXA scan. If you don't know that, go by your ultimate goal weight. And I don't mean like I weigh 290 pounds and I want to weigh 250. I mean like your ultimate goal weight, like, or at least some kind of mid place. If you weigh 300 pounds, maybe start out at 200. And let's say, especially if you want to get to like say 150.
Yeah.
But you're going to basically take whatever that is and eat that in grams of protein. Now, if you're like Rachel was and you're used to only eating 60 or 70, you're probably going to have to work your way up because protein
it took a minute.
Very filling in the moment.
Yeah.
So one of the things, protein is going to fill you up in the moment and fat will get you to your next meal. That's why you got to find that balance. So, you know, if you're used to eating 60, 70, 80 grams of protein, just try to increase it and get yourself up to that. I use 150 as a nice round number. And that's what Rachel pretty much eats. She's like, you know, 150. So she tries to eat 150 grams of protein every day. And then up to that, the fat and the carbs combined, which is your fuel, what your body uses for fuel, that's the cap. That's not like you have to eat that much. So now she's gonna eat up to 150 grams of carbs and fat combined. So if she has a day, if she's only gonna eat 10 carbs, that means she can eat up to 140 grams of fat. On average, Rachel eats about 150 grams of protein and then somewhere between 100 to 120 grams of fat and carbohydrates combined. So, and that's where she feels comfortable.
So Lori says the dream was that the 4 of us were together, and I believe it is her time to wake up. Yeah, if we are haunting your dreams, it's time to give keto a shot, right?
Granny saying it was her birthday last week. It reminded me, even though it's Monday and her birthday was a couple days ago, we need to sing happy birthday to our good friend Christy Davis over at Keto Village.
Absolutely. You ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Christy. Happy birthday to you and many more. Love you, Christy.
James, thank you very much for the $5 super chat. Said, when you did BBB last fall, how did you get your vitamins, specifically vitamin C? You get lots of vitamins in meat.
Yeah, it's surprising.
You get a lot of vitamins in meat, and we just didn't worry about it, and we did very well. We had really amazing body recomposition, and Dr. Berry has lots of videos. Again, we are not doctors or nurses or health professionals, and I'd rather you go take a look at his videos. He has specific videos on those kind of topics, like getting vitamin C, but you'd be surprised. Meat is so much more nutritious than vegetables.
Yeah.
And people think about it like, oh, well, you need vegetables. There's so many more vitamins in meat.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Red meat, specifically getting your meat from ruminant animals, not from chicken. I mean, chicken, I know it can be delicious, but it doesn't have a tremendous amount of nutrition in it. Eggs, lots of nutrition in eggs. Lots of nutrition in ruminant animals. Okay. Mary said, it's an important lesson for those afraid of protein. Protein is the only macro our body cannot make for itself.
That's good.
We must eat it. It makes fat. It makes glucose. Eat your protein.
Mary with the cute little brand new puppy, that is so powerful. And it's really, really important.
Karen said, my scale lied so much, I finally got rid of it.
Yay, Karen, way to go.
Okay, Denise said, what kind of magnesium? A couple things that I'm gonna recommend. Number one, I think the easiest way to get magnesium is Keto Gel mineral drops.
Yeah.
Not mineral drops. Well, the daily minerals or the magnesium drops.
Right.
I think that is the easiest way. Mix it in with something. Rachel likes to shoot them.
I can shoot the mineral drops.
The other way...
I mean the magnesium drops, not the daily minerals.
Yeah, no, please no. The other way is Equip sells something called Smart Sleep. Rachel calls it her night-night juice. That has some good magnesium. It'll help you go to sleep. It'll give you magnesium. Or you can also get something called Calm. So there's a link down below for Equip, and you can get a discount on the Equip. But you can also get Calm, C-A-L-M. And you can get that on Amazon. That's the cheapest you're going to find it. They got a couple of different flavors, and that will give you magnesium. Those are the only sources that I'm going to recommend for magnesium.
I like the Smart Sleep better because we used to use Calm before we found out that Equip had Smart Sleep, and it gave me a little bit of heartburn taste. So that's why, you're drinking it like right before bed because it makes you tired.
Okay, so Shauna said, I'm here, but I'm working. The spicy taco, not spicy at all.
Thank you.
And she is a wimp when it comes to spice.
Yes, in a great way, right? Like, you have to have somebody
always protecting me.
Well, I was going to say, you have to have somebody in your party that can give you, like, you cannot have Heath and Shelly tell you what is spicy.
Oh, yeah.
Because what they
Or Maitreya or Renee.
What they can tolerate for spice is like, whoa mama. So when somebody that's like, I don't want any spice, like the person that wants the true mild buffalo wings that's maybe just like the butter and a little tiny bit of the Tabasco sauce on it, that's who you want to tell you is this spicy or not.
Yeah. Leah, thank you very much for becoming a channel member,
Leah.
becoming a 2KK supporter. It's funny you mentioned spice. I remember pre-keto, Rachel, I've always liked spice. Rachel was not a spicy person.
Now I am.
About, there's her little thing.
Now I'm spicy.
Rachel became like, we talk about like your tastes adapt and they change. But we used to go out to restaurants and I always wanted spice. And I would get like the spiciest like chicken tenders and wings. And Rachel always thought I was ordering that so that she wouldn't eat it. I mean, it wasn't the truth, but I just
like,
really like spice.
Yeah.
But it's like now her tastes have evolved and she's putting hot sauce on eggs, even though they're my eggs.
Who is this person? Who is this Rachel we speak of?
Janet said, I know that's why I'm so slow losing. I'm not eating enough protein. I eat 1 meal a day and I fast 20 a day. Ugh.
Time to change it up, Janet.
Start changing it up a little bit. Again, our body likes change.
Dang it, Janet.
Thomas DeLauder did a great video last week about like 10 things like don't do or do on keto.
Do on keto.
And he talked about some of these things like changing it up, like eating, well, it was like kind of do this, don't do this kind of thing. And he talked about you gotta eat your protein. You gotta, sometimes he did another one the other day about eating more. Like literally there was a study about that where they took 2 groups. It was a small study, but where they took 2 groups. One they calorie restricted, and one they actually had them calorie restrict. They ate, they worked out. One did not work out at all and calorie restricted. Another group worked out a little bit, but then increased the amount they were eating, and they lost more weight. Even though they were eating more, they lost weight, and they were working out to just compensate for the eating more, and they were still losing more, because sometimes feeding our body more fuel, if you're in a stall, try eating more. And I know it sounds weird, but I know it worked with me. Last year at this time, I was talking with Bronson, and I was eating like 60, 70 grams of fat a day, and he was like, I want to see that up around 130.
You're like, what now?
And as soon as I did, I started losing weight. I mean, wait a second.
It's a hard
I'm
thing
eating
to
more.
grasp. It really is hard, because it feels like if I don't put anything in the tank, then I'm going to lose weight, right? But you're not fueling your life. Like, we're not, it's like saying, I want my car to run better by not putting any gasoline in it.
Right.
Like, we don't expect that, but we expect that of ourselves.
Blue Dove said, if Sean and I agree it's not spicy, you can take that to the bank.
That's good. Hey, Serena, thanks so much.
Thank you for becoming a
channel member.
Let's see.
I want to do another winner.
You want to do another winner?
I want to do another winner.
Okay, ready? One more.
One more.
Ready?
Yes, here we go. Juju!
Juju!
You just won.
Juju, send us an email at joe@2crazyketos.com for all of your shipping information.
I got a heart by your name.
And again, if you win and you want us to gift it to somebody else, just let us know and we can try to contact that person.
Yeah.
It was so awesome of Debbie to gift her winning the other day to Carrie.
You're the sweetest.
Okay. Diane said, hi all, I have just experienced the sensation of my tinnitus, lasting about a day and a half, but I've been hoping that being on keto would help. After really limiting heavy whipping cream and cheese, it happened.
Heavy whipping cream and cheese is like my kryptonite. Like, I get that. That and nuts. All of those three things. And it honestly, I have enjoyed this month and not having to think about it. I'm not battling it. It's just the answer is no. Sometimes that is the nicest thing I can say to myself is no. Rachel, you're off the security detail for monitoring and watching your heavy whipping cream and cheese and nut intake. Yeah. I'm just out of it this month. And I'm loving it.
Suzanne said, can you please explain the purpose of the calcium test and where I can find the information on it? So you can do a lot of Googling. Dr. Barry actually has a video on the CAC test. Basically what it's checking to see is how clogged are your arteries.
Yeah.
Like, is there buildup in there? It's really one of the best ways to really check your risk for heart disease. So much better than, like checking like cholesterol and stuff. And again, we are not doctors or anything like that, but people get concerned like, what is your cholesterol? And then you tell them and they're like, oh my gosh, you should be dead. But let's look at all the other numbers.
Wow, you're not dead. I feel like I'm not a doctor or a nurse, but I look like a ski instructor today.
Randy said, today is a new day to start a week full of opportunities for you.
Yes.
Have fun. Enjoy your journey.
Thank you for reminding us of that, because if you need a day one, we don't need a January one. Today is a great day. January 24th is the perfect day one if you need a day one.
Yeah. But Trey said, I'm going to say this again. I'm in love with carbonating Relight and Element. So refreshing.
It is
Rachel
great.
was so upset when she tested negative, and I'm like, guess what?
You're back to no more
Relight.
flavoring.
And she's like, what? And I'm like, you were doing that because, again, people ask, like, what did she do when she had, like, the C word last week? And that was lots of electrolytes.
Yes.
Lots of electrolytes and eating the proper human diet.
And I'm back, peoples.
And after a couple days, she was, I think it was 2 days, and you were feeling better, right?
I was feeling really good.
And then, so I'm like, yep, no more of that. Back to just, like, taking the capsules But yeah, it's really good to mix that.
I have pushed the pouty face.
Just be careful with doing it because you will get a volcano.
Gabloom. I have pushed the pouty face so much, that button, that like Joe's immune to it now. Doesn't even work.
Oh, Juju was the person I think that had the thing about Texas and Brazil. She said they also did gluten-free mushrooms for her too. She called ahead of time.
Again, remember, whenever you're going out, you're the client. Treat yourself to what you actually want. Whatever restaurant you're going to, go to Yelp, look up the menu, find out more, and then go ahead and call. And then that way you've got all of the discussions going on privately, and then you go into the restaurant feeling empowered. Also, don't be afraid to talk to your grocery butcher. We've had more people contact us about that, saying like, you know what, I got brave and I asked the butcher, hey, what's not out here? And that, I mean, even at Publix, even at like chain grocery stores, and just saying like, hey, could you cut this a certain way? Could you trim this? Do you have some other cuts that like are in the back that you only put out by special request? Talk to them.
Yeah. Susan said, this weekend when we took the dogs to the park, the trail around the park was just a walk in the park. When we went in November, it was a bit of a struggle for me.
Susan, I am so proud of you. And she has been really good at getting all of her movement in and really prioritizing that. And it is cold where Susan is living, okay? So like, if cold is the excuse, like today, it's very cold for me, but I'm gonna get outside and get my movement in because, and I think about Susan because I'm like, I have no excuse. When I hear Heather talk about like, it's -8 and she's like, all right, but I got the walk in today. I'm like, okay, I have absolutely no excuse for getting movement in.
This one's important. Joan said, well, they're all important, but Joan said, losing hair is my biggest complaint about my keto carnivore lifestyle. What helps, or am I missing an essential vitamin or mineral?
Protein.
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 And also fat and nutrition.
Yeah.
So This happens on almost every time you change an eating lifestyle, specifically when you're trying to lose weight. And what happens is
you're not getting enough nutrition.
We cut calories. And a lot of times, per the standard American diet, we do what does not work, and that is strictly cut calories. And I know there are people that are going to argue with me. Counting calories, for the most part, doesn't work. How do I know that? Because Rachel cut her calories all the way down to 500 calories a day.
And I gained 70 pounds.
And she gained 70 pounds. Because your body will slow down metabolism. When you cut your calories that drastically, all you are doing is making your body can't possibly get all the nutrition that it can get and slows down everything else. So Rachel started eating more and eating more protein. So she started eating more protein and more fat. Her hair stopped falling out. It started growing in. Her nails are growing. Her skin is glowing. And that's from eating more and eating higher protein. So I know it sounds weird, but you should be getting at least 70 or 80 grams of fat in a day and at least 100 grams of protein a day.
Well, it honestly doesn't seem that weird if you think about it, okay? If I'm a body and I have to fuel things, the most important thing to me is going to be your brain, it's going to be your organs, it's going to be that kind of stuff. What is the stuff that your body could live without? Hair. Joe is proving right now that you can have no hair on your head and still function fine. So when it has to start letting go of stuff,
I wish my hair would stop growing. I didn't have to shave as much.
Well, it's growing in different places, right? But it's got to let go of something. So for me, it's like, yeah, I can have crappy skin, crappy nails, crappy hair, because my body was trying to just help me survive in such a dramatic calorie restriction and really nutritional restriction, because it's not just calories. I was withholding, because what do we do when we are calorie restricting? We don't prioritize protein. I was trying to see what is the least amount of food and the least amount of calories, and we reach for things like a ball of iceberg lettuce, oatmeal, that sort of stuff.
Even chicken breast. There's no nutrition there. And here it comes. I'm going to say this.
Brace yourself,
and I'm going to get comments.
Here it comes.
You can't get all of the nutrition you need being a vegan or a vegetarian.
Oh.
You just can't.
Oh my gosh.
You want to know where you're going to get
letters.
Where are you going to get all your nutrition? If you're having hair loss, eat steak.
Yeah.
Eat beef. Eat ruminant animals. That's where you're gonna, all of the nutrition you need is right there in your ruminant animals. And all we did was start eating a lot more beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, and everything changed. There are just certain vitamins and nutrients you cannot get without eating beef. It's just the bottom line.
It sounds strange. I know it.
I know. We're getting off too because I know I'm about to get yelled at.
You're gonna brace yourself.
Tanya said we've been saying for a while that Rachel's hair looks darker blonde more than gray,
Thank you.
but was not sure if it was just video version.
I guess
No, I'm
it
looking
is.
at it personally.
Yeah.
And it is.
That's kind of funny, right? What's happening?
Let's see, down. Cool Kid Keto said we have pork belly bacon smoking in the smoker right now, and
smoking like a brisket.
T-bone for dinner, still going on BBBB.
Okay, what time is dinner? Because all of those things I would like to eat right now.
Blue Dove said butter mayo is my new favorite food. Was able to eat 2 pounds of meat cookies with that delicious condiment. That one will pop up in a minute.
I love that.
Robin said, Rachel, in one of the recent videos, I thought your hair looked overall more golden than gray.
Thanks, Robin. Yeah, you know what? I never really noticed it. I felt like when we went to Universal Studios, I got a glance at my hair in the back when I was in front of like a window, when it was like those no poop pills in one of the hair products, and it looked white to me.
Right.
So I thought, okay, maybe I have mood hair. What kind of mood is this?
Thank you very much for the $10 super
Thanks,
chat.
Mary.
Said, I understand calm for magnesium, but I get heartburn too. What else do you use at bedtime?
The magnesium
Keto
drops
Chow
from
magnesium
Keto Chow.
drops or Smart Sleep, which is back there.
You want me to grab it?
You want to grab that? And we're going to get off because Keto Chow is starting. So we'll show that real quick. Becky said, meat is the original superfood. Beef, lamb, duck. It is a red meat. Yeah, so this works really good. We have a link down below.
I won't show my gnarly pack. Once you open it, it gets kind of gnarly.
Okay.
But, yeah.
Okay, we are going to get off. We thank everybody for joining us for Keto on the Couch today. If you're watching it on a replay, we're sorry about the giveaways. But again, there are Lots more giveaways, including the video that we had yesterday.
So don't be upset if you weren't in the live.
And we still have, in addition to the 5 we're giving out on that video, there are still 30 more packets. Don't forget about our live stream on Thursday at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Time, where we will do some more of these individual packets as well. Anything final to say?
I love you very much. And I hope you have an awesome week.
Have a great week, guys. Bye.